works fine. Alright, I guess that's fine. So, too much PV, just try to click dungeon on your screen. Yeah, that doesn't work. That tends to not work. So here we are. So this. So let's just go into this a bit deeper and see if we can gather some nice information on set 5 from the spoiler that have been generated so far. So let's just use the black background on everything. Alright, so here we go. So let's just do them one by one, and we'll just go through the cards and try to identify their key features. I think this is mainly what I want to do today, and maybe take some notes for limited and constructed. And then as more cards get released, every Sunday morning we'll be taking some time to review these and update the review tab and work towards a full set review that we'll do once the set releases on the stream. So, and I'll try to have some nice guests here to help me with the review as well. So first one that we have, and maybe we want to sort them by name. Do alphabetical order. Yeah, that works. So first one is Animus of Nulzan. It's a 4-cost, no threshold artifact troop. It's a construct. It is a rare. It's a 3/3. So it's a 4-cost 3/3 artifact troop that has no threshold requirement. So this is below the curve, at least for constructed. For limited, the vanilla stats are fine, but it's not extreme, right? It's nothing big, and it's a rare. So there's obviously a text on the card. The first text is Socketable Major. So we've got a 3/3 for 4 with a major socket. So right out of the gate for limited, this appears to be a very fine card. Socketable Major. Now again, remember there will be a full gem rotation with set 5. That means that we don't know what will be the major gems right now, and this is a full gem rotation, so don't expect to have the same effects on gems. Or maybe if we have same effect, it will be, you know, close but not exactly the same. So major gem on a 3/3 for 4 with no threshold requirement should enter pretty much every limited deck and draft and in sealed, unless you have a very specific strategy, a very specific archetype you're running, and that doesn't work. But just with the Socketable Major, we go from a, you know, kind of meh playable card to a, yeah, sure, it goes into every deck and it's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. And then you add the last line of text to the card, and this is where things get interesting. When you play a Suggeted card, all your Suggeted troops in all zones get +1/+1. This line of text makes me so happy, and this is where X really shines, with the cards affecting all zones. And keep in mind, get +1/+1. This is a permanent change. This is not a temporary change. All zones means it will affect all Suggeted troops you have in play, in your hand, in your deck, in your crypt, in the void zone, in all zones, so all 5 zones in the game. This is going to be crazy. So, and then of course key features, right? So what we need to be aware of is that why is it not typing here? Wait, what? Okay, so key feature here is that cares about Suggeted troops. So this is the Gem Lord, so to speak, right? Cares about Suggeted troops. So need to make sure to pay attention at this one, and we also what else do we have? So not knowing the gems here, not knowing the archetypes that we will be playing in limited, it's hard to evaluate the card and add more, comments on that. But the one thing we can add is that it's it's flexible. I mean, having a socket on a card adds flexibility to a card, and this is added value to a card as well, in limited and in constructed. So my guess is that let's just for now, let's just put a temporary asterisk on the limited side and say this is a playable card. This should be a playable card in limited. I don't think there's any world where you don't even have the line of text here. You just have 3/3 artifact troop for 4 with a socketable major socket. It's playable in limited. So add the line here, and keep in mind with the line, it's not really a 3/3. It is a socketable troop, so it will affect itself when it is played, because it is a socketed card. When you play the socketed card, it's not in play, so it's not going to be a 4/4 when you play it. I don't think so, because when you play it, it's not yet in play, but it does affect all socketed troops in all zones. So I don't know if the chain is a zone for cards to be affected in, but if the chain is a zone for cards to be affected in, that means that this one comes into play as a 4/4/4, and that is crazy good. So yeah, this definitely a cool card here, and it's be limited playable. I'm fairly sure this will be limited playable. So tilt meaning this is a temporary grade, but this should be yeah, maybe I just write it to make sure that no, this is a playable card. It has to be playable. Yeah, it's playable for sure. What I'm saying, this is a playable card. There's no way this card is not playable in limited in most of, if not all decks. Oh, very good card. If you put Minor Gem in it, it's 7/5/5/4. Not really, because we have a full gem rotation, so we don't know what the gems will be. Maybe there will be a minor gem that provides stats, but we don't know what it will be. And I would be, since they said that it would be a full gem rotation, I would be surprised that we have gems that stays there. I would be very surprised about it. So definitely a nice troop here, flexible, cares about socketed troops. So when you start reviewing your cards, your troops, you want to check this. So the fact that this rare exists also, this rare creates an archetype. This is an archetype. If you open pack 1, pick 1 this card, you will find every single, you will find these socketed troops, every socketed troops that you can, and likely there's other synergies with socketed troops. But seeing that we have one card here with synergy with socketed troops, we might see more in the set. So keep an eye. So cares about socketed troops, and maybe we add a note here. We want to keep an eye. Keep an eye on other socket synergy cards as well, because if you're playing this one, you're likely playing a significant amount of socketed troops, and if you're playing a significant amount of socketed troops, maybe there are other cards that cares about sockets of troop or gems that really works well in a deck that you already have a good reason to have full of them, a good number of them. So it has a major socket so it gets +1/+1 with minor gems, right? Well, the thing is that itself, I'm not sure it will get the +1/+1, but technically you just need any gem in it, any gem at all, and it will be 4/4 when you play the next socket troop. Yeah, it's really good. But I'm not so sure right now that this is a 4-4-4-4, because the line is when you play a sucketed card, all your sucketed troops in all zones get +1/+1. But at the time you play it, at the time this triggers, the Animus is not in play. It's on the chain. So is the chain a zone? I'm guessing it is, and it will be a 4-4-4-4. But you know, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I don't think we have many cards right now that fix the text on cards on the chain. So maybe we add another asterisk in there, just another tilde there. Wait, label. Enter. Where is this one? Here. Does affect self when played? Just put a question mark in there. Actually, the questions, I'll add them in the key features, and maybe we review these later. So let's just add another one. Does this affect itself when played? So I'll put these questions in orange, and we'll see when it comes out. I assume it works the same as counter magic. Counter magic. Wait, so if you have two of the same action on the chain and you counter magic the first one, does the second one on the chain that suddenly has a cost increase? If that's the case, it should work like that. Yeah, this would be a rare. And actually, this might just be playable in constructed as well. All right, so this might just be, you know, constructed playable as well. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this was might be playable. I really wouldn't be surprised that it would. You don't need that much more support for a card like that to be good. Might be playable, and we'll just best bud with Yero. We got Yero. We've got Azure Fate. We've got Root Father. Just, you know, from the get-go. And yeah, interaction, this card interaction with Hierophant and Azure Fate Sorceress and Root Father, this is intriguing. This is really intriguing. So yeah, definitely it's a defining card. I mean, this is, if there's enough support for Sagat, you know, a gem deck, so a gem, kind of your gem garden deck, this clearly has this might just create a new archetype in constructed as well, and that's a good card. I mean, there's no threshold requirement on this one. Just imagine, like, you're playing Hierophant, and on the next turn you're playing that, so your Hierophant gets +2/+2, and that's crazy. But the fact that it just pumps everything everywhere, not, you know, in your deck, in your hand, in your crypt, and everywhere, that's just insane. That's an engine. That's a big engine. So yeah, and if we're looking at that for constructed, we need to add also here that likely going to be more than 2 shards deck, because the big thing here is that if you have a lot of Sagaded troop and you have 4 each of them, you can only have 4 of the same gem in one single deck. So this card has a gem socket. If you add a Hierophant in your deck, for instance, there's 2 gem sockets in there, so you're using 3 different gems, and there's 4 gems per shards, and they're not all good for your deck. So definitely this one is going to be, most likely going to be, if it's played in constructed, it's going to be a 3 to 5 shards deck. But it is an artifact troop with no threshold requirement, so it fits very well in a multi shards deck. So that's another thing, right? So I might just right out of the gate we can add a fits really well. Easy to play in a multi-shard deck. So that might just be an enabler for a 5-shard archetype as well. Because again, Monarch runs well in a 5-shard archetypes. It's a Sagaded troop that has cost reduction, the more thresholds that you have. This one pumps Sagaded troops. So you might be playing Diamond. Maybe it's Diamond Wild Saga troops deck. So that might be something here. There might be something to it. So yeah, I love this card. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of depth to a card like that. I really wouldn't be surprised that this is playable and constructed. But yeah, that's the reason. Like yeah, maybe yeah. I think it's relevant in limited as well, right? Easy to play. Well, let's just say this is a low opportunity and setup cost. That means that there's no threshold requirement. It's good on its own. It's a fine card on its own, and it might be great depending on the gem that you put in, and also there's no setup cost. There's no opportunity cost. It's just you play that card and that's it. Of course, that's a rare, so the power level is there, and I wouldn't be surprised that this is it might be a B something, and if we have to give it a likely grade here, just bet I wouldn't be surprised if this I don't think this is a bomb, but it might be, but I'm pretty sure it would be something like B plus, because even in a vacuum, not knowing anything about the set, and we know something about the set. We already saw 2 commons for Ruby, 1 common for Ruby, and there's in the spreadsheet there's 1 common. Just looking at the suckable cards here, we got 1, 2, 3, and we only have 19 cards. And this is a common, this is a rare, this is a common. So there's a hint there that there will be an heavy socket or gem team here in that set, and I really wouldn't be surprised about that with the Animus coming in as one of the first cards revealed. So might be a hint about that. And let's just put the temporary grade here would be let's just I'll add tilde. Let's see, I just had a notice here. This means temporary. It means up to very comment, and let's just put that in. Just put it in red, just as a. Doesn't come out really great here. Teal is good. So just as a temporary comment here on the top of the sheet, if you come back later, when I put a tilde, it just means that these are temporary comments that that needs to be reviewed when we have the full list. So yeah, I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, and when we come in, we'll do Battle Hymn. This one is fairly great, so take your time to review the card and bring and talk about your impressions. I'll be back in 1 minute. Alright. I'm back. And I got a snack. So I don't know if you guys know what this is, but this is the best thing in the world. It is a Pyrrolin, and yeah, I'm going to take a quick bite while we review the card. So Battalion is a 1-cost 3-diamond threshold basic action. It is an uncommon. Troops you control get +1/+1. It's very simple. Let that sink in for a minute. The thing with this card is that, you know, 3-diamond threshold is really prohibitive. So it's we can already say that this has a you know, this has a high setup cost, right? Clearly you need 3-diamond thresholds. You're not going to add that in all games. Yeah, that's the point. Now let that last comment sink in. All right. It's very high setup cost, but this is still a great card, right? 1 cost gives +1/+1 to all your troops. It is significant at a very low cost. Is it a problem that it has 3-diamond threshold? I mean, it's prohibitive, right? You won't be playing that in every diamond decks that you play. So another thing that we want to keep track of for limited is that you know, maybe is there or what, you know, keep an eye for threshold fixing. Keep an eye out for threshold fixing. So if you're planning on playing that card, you want to keep an eye on the threshold fixing for sure. Actually, I'm just going to put these in orange. I think it works well. It'll be easier to find the ones that yeah, this is playable. There's no way this is not playable. So it's just, this is playable. Alright, so let's put these two here in orange just to make sure that it is clear. The ones that are temporary comments are in orange. That works well. So yeah, keep an eye out for threshold fixing for sure. We don't know how many there will be in the set, so but if there's enough, it might be okay to expect to be able to play that around turn 2 or 3. If there's a very mono diamond deck that exists in this format, then Battalion is going to be a very strong card. But you know, think about the sequence here, right? If you're going to give +1/+1 to all your troops, you want to have as many troops as you can in play before you do that. So you're unlikely to have 2 to 4 troops in play by turn 2 or 3. So even if there's 3-diamond threshold, really you wouldn't be playing that. You know, usually I guess that the best use of that card will be to play a 2-drop on turn 2, play a 3-drop on turn 3, play a 3-drop on turn 4, then use Battalion on turn 4. Or something along these lines. Like play something on 2, play something on 3, play something on 4, play another 4-drop, play Battalion on turn 5. Something along these lines. So having the 3-diamond threshold is not, you know, it's not that bad, because you wouldn't want to play that card on turn 3 anyway, most of the time, unless you go turn 1, 1-drop, turn 2, 1-drop, turn 3, and you're mono diamond, turn 3 you play a another 2-drop plus the Battalion. That might just be something. Well, that would be a significant amount of damage though. If you have a turn, you know, if you have a turn 1, so But if you play 2 colors triple threshold on turn 4, it's not. No, that's what I mean, right? There's a very high setup cost, and arguably, no, there's a high setup cost because you need troops in play. Well, it's not high. Let's say the setup cost is medium. You know, there's a setup cost, so there's just my setup cost. But there's also there's a real you know, opportunity cost in the sense that you need to be going heavy in diamond, and if you don't have reasons to be heavy in diamond, are you going heavy in playing, you know, bad diamond cards just to have enough diamond cards to be playing heavy number of shards in diamond? I'm not sure. So, you know, setup costs medium. Let's just yeah, no, this is a yeah. There's a setup cost to it. It's not that big, but there's a setup cost to it, and there's a opportunity cost as well. You know, deck building. Clearly, but if you meet these two, this is a fine card. I mean, I'd be, yeah. It's just but that, yeah, this one I don't think we can devise a grade just yet for it, because it's just, you know, we can't do it. We need to have the full set for this one for sure. So yeah, this is a temporary comment, but you know, in a 2 shard deck, getting 3 of the same threshold by turn 5, 6. I think if your deck's strongly leaning towards diamond, and maybe you have one, you know, a few fixers, that might work. And yes, there's 20 new champion with the release of this set. But what I don't know if that, do we get the last 5 that we got for Primal Dawn? And if we have, and Yuzu is still a thing, that might help this card, you know, dramatically to be played. So yeah, that's true. So this is friends with you know, let's just say look for cards that create multiple troops, multiple buddies that create multiple buddies, multiple troops. Yeah, they need to be troops. So yeah, true. We need to look, you know, when you evaluate this card in draft, or, you know, even in constructed, you need to look for cards that create multiple troops. That's really, really important. Limited, I would guess that this effect is playable. I would be very surprised if it wasn't. But for now, let's just wait. Let's just put it playable, that as a temporary. I would be very surprised if it's not playable, but there are formats where a card like that, with this, you know, big of a threshold requirement, really makes it fringe playable in most decks. And really, maybe there's one artifact, if you're very, you know, if you're very lucky and there's a lot of diamond in your pool, then you're good. But yeah, sure. Now this changes a lot in constructed though. Yeah, in constructed, now we're talking, right? Because in constructed, you have access to all cards, and you can really create a deck like a mono diamond deck that runs 1-drops and 2-drops, and you know, first turn 1-drop, turn 2-drop. You know, right now we have the Assalian turn 1, or the Totem turn 1, that is a 2/1. On turn 2 you play William Rowan, and then on turn 3 you play, I don't know, any other 2-drops or 2/1-drops, and you play Battle Him, and everything is +1/+1. That is a crazy amount of pressure on your opponent, and that kind of start really can kill people fast. So Zodiac, thank you for a follow, appreciate it, welcome to the team. So I would be, you know, this is likely, this is, yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and I just say playable in a mono diamond aggressive deck. So you really want to hit the curve like 1 drop, 2 drop, and then another 2 drop and pump the team and then attack, you know, on turn 3 you attack for, on turn 2 you attack for 2 or 3 damage. On turn 3 you play a troop, play that, attack for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 damage on turn 3. And you already did 2 on turn 1, so your opponent is already at, you know, -9. And this is when you attack on your 3rd turn. And on your 4th turn, you might be very close to killing them, so... True. But you use that to push, you know, damage and then be okay. And you might build your deck, you know, playable in a model diamond aggressive deck. I really think that this is one like you curve out or you flood the board with troops and then you do that. But yeah, this is not. This is might be playable in a model diamond aggressive deck. We'll see what other cards there is. There might be support for this card in the set, right? Keep an eye out for. Oh wait, it got for threshold fixing and look for cards that create multiple troops. Let's just add that in orange as well. And this would be orange as well. Here and here. Okay, so yeah, might be playable in a mono diamond aggressive deck. And might be playable in a troop creation in just go wide. So in a deck with you know, just go wide with a lot of small troops, something on these lines. So whoa. I don't think it is good either, but I do think that it, you know, there is certainly a context, a meta, or there's certainly an archetypes where a card like that has a place and would be strong. And you know, if you manage to have I don't know, an action that creates 2 1/1s on turn 2, and you played 1/1 on turn 1 or 2/1 on turn 1, then suddenly you play that on turn 3, plus say create 2 other tokens, play that on turn 3, attack for a decent amount of damage, and on the play on turn 4, this could be it, right? But no, even in limited, the 3-diamond threshold is really prohibitive. It's extremely prohibitive. So, and the opportunity cost is real for the deck building, and setup cost. There's a setup cost as well. If you have that in hand and you have no board possession or just 1 troop, it becomes very, you know, not that great. So it's not an all-star by any stretch. And if I had to give it an early grade, I think I would go with something like a D+. Like, it's not going to fit in all the decks, but in a deck that fits, it's going to be good. That would be, or it's just a D. Yeah, yeah. Let's go with the Let's just go with the D here. It's might be playable, but it really depends on the rest of the set, and there might just be enough support for it to be a thing in limited, unless you're very heavy in diamond and you have a lot of 2 and 3 drops that you can use with this card. So yeah, Ready of King is very good, but right now we don't see that many Ready of King, so there's a low chance that this one sees plays. But if we have good early diamond drops, very aggressive ones, we might see them. So, but we don't. So let's go into the next card here. Blazing Hammer is a 5 cost, 1 ruby threshold basic action. It is a common. It reads, deal 4 damage to target champion or troop. So let's use the old trick. Let that sink in. I really love this card. I think it's going to be... you're going to play these in most of your Ruby decks. It's hard to say right now, but it's... this is right away. You need to make sure that this is removal. And it says high cost. For sure. But, the fact that it goes to the face... It goes to champion and troops for 5. It's very good. I don't think that you're playing Ruby and you're not playing that card in your deck. This is a common. Obviously it costs 5, so you're not playing a ton of them. However, what kind of Ruby deck are you playing that doesn't want 4 damage to a troop or champion in the end to wrap up the game at the end? I think this might just be one of the best commons for Ruby in the set, and we don't have it in all the set, but this is highly efficient and it's just high cost, but besides the cost, it is very efficient and it is flexible. So I cannot see this card not being part of nearly every Ruby decks, really. You don't want 5 copies, but even then, let's think about this for a second. You have multiple copies of that card. It's just better in multiples, right? If you have 5 resources, you just want to draw Blazing Hammer every single turn and you just win the game. So, this card is good in multiples. And maybe we just had a mention here, be careful with... no, this is for limited also. This is, yeah, high cost, so... but this is, goes to the face. Let's just add flexible. It is flexible, so... for limited, this is just... this is good in multiples. But you need to be careful with, careful with resource curve. But then again, I mean, it's I think you have 4 of them, you play 4 of them. I think it's that easy. It's that easy. You may not want to play the 3/2 troop plus 2 to the face. Yeah. Perfect G is 5 cost removal and cease play. It could be great finisher. Yeah, I mean, this is a common. So yeah, this is a brand new format. Keep in mind there won't be any other cards than the set 5 cards in this new limited format. So but you can use comparison to existing cards to try to have a benchmark to which evaluate the cards against. and that's a useful way to approach card evaluation. But you know, I would be very, very surprised if this card is not one of the best commons for Ruby. I would be very surprised. I would guess that this will be a top 3. We'll review that, of course, once we have the full list. But I'm going to say that this is. I'm going to be very, very conservative here, and just. I think this is going to be a C plus. I think C plus is about right. It might just be B minus. Once we have the full list, we'll know. But yeah. Just that comment doesn't gives added value here, and for constructed, not. Let's see. You know, might be playable in a burn deck. It might be, you know, I could see a util deck wanting a card like that or two just to wrap up the game at the end, right? This has to be one of the top picks, so of course it costs 5, so you can just start the draft and take a Blazing Hammer and just start accumulating. But then again, I keep thinking about a scenario where I have, you know, 3 or 4 Blazing Hammer in my deck as a curve topper. That would be an insane deck. As long as you hit 5, and you can certainly work towards having a deck that, you know, works well with hitting 5. This is going to be a great card. So I'm being very conservative with a C plus here, but we'll review it once we have the full list. But I think that this will be one of the key defining cards in Limited for Ruby. It has to be. Yeah, in Constructed it is a bit of a weird one, right? It costs 5 and it deals 4 damage. So with util it's 5 damage to the face. And 5 damage to the face is very big. The fact that it also removes a troop, I mean there's play to this card. And if you have other ways to bring that number up, might be something nice. But if this would exist right now, it would be a consideration to be played in the util deck. Keep it